Mind over matter, overcompensating, overstatements, crookedness related, the soul's churn in return, mental overstimulation, one word, riveting, it terrors my pilot, streams that are promised to make seeking less.
Dr. Tracey J. Johnson. Let me just give you a chance to go for your resume. I just want to give you the respect you deserve. Known as the heart communicator. Has earned a PhD in philosophy, specializing in holistic life coaching. She published author, speaker, and as I mentioned, life coach. Former host of Journey into the Heart, radio showing on KBCN Media and Allow and Love on the Women's Spiritual Network. It's great to have you on, Tracey. Welcome to Poetry Journey.
Well, thank you so much. Thank you so much for inviting me, and I'm really excited about being a part.
Absolutely. I've been looking to this for this one. Questions, as they say, questions. But we'll get into that.
Okay.
You have a very interesting resume. Could you tell my audience about your speciality and some information about holistic life coaching? Like, what's that like?
Well, the best way to start out is to share my journey and how I ended up being a holistic life coach. I've always been someone, I don't know, like as you go on your journey, you'll understand more and more of your purpose. Yeah. And I would always have individuals that would reach out to me, and I would always have some way, somehow in the beginning, I didn't totally understand it, that I would have wisdom or information to share with them in terms of helping them on their journey and when they were having different challenges. But not only that, I believe that most often the wisdom that we have to share with others is based on the journey that we've experienced. And so everything that I have, that I assist individuals with as far as life coaching, holistic life coaching is pointing to my journey into my heart. And I'm deemed as the heart communicator because when I do my life coaching, I'm able to connect with the individual's heart to be able to help to translate whatever it is that their heart is communicating to them through what I'll call low-level emotions. I don't call emotions negative. They're whatever they're experiencing in terms of their heart, feeling like their heart has been broken. Yeah. But I always share with my clients that it's not, to look at it from a higher perspective, not that your heart has been broken, but it's been broken open so that that treasure that's within your earthen vessel can come forth, the treasure of who you truly are and why you came here and what you came here to experience. So, yes.
That's interesting. That's very interesting. Well, I appreciate you telling us about your path. I'm very big on paths myself, so to hear, how you come about where you are in life right now, that's very interesting. I think a lot of people can resonate to that. But as you said, a lot of things that we go through in terms of like coaching or even try to give back to people or just giving guidance, it's all goes back to how you relate, how you resonate to your own experience, because that's the only way you can really kind of understand and share perhaps, and likewise for other people as well, where they can kind of understand what you're trying to where you're trying to lead them to, and the road you're trying to perhaps point them towards pertaining to themselves, and just kind of seeing it for themselves.
Yes.
Where they're trying to go in the sense of direction that makes sense for their path in life.
Yes.
So that's positive.
Yes. And one of the main things that I teach is that when we talk about going on their journey and experience their life, everything that I share with my clients, or those who even like being able to have an opportunity to share through different interviews on podcasts, is that I point to the journey within. It's not about what's going on outside of you, because all my biggest thing is that if you don't go within, you go without. And so,
Yes.
that's major.
Yes.
Because, like, for example, you and I can be having a totally different experience in the same moment. And it's based on what's going on within you, not what's going on outside of you.
Yeah.
So you can just be in the, total state of joy and excitement and things of that nature. But if my heart is heavy, then I wouldn't be able to relate or understand how is it that you're having that experience in this moment, and I'm having a totally different experience. And that's why it's very important for us not to look at the different things that's going on in the exterior aspect of our life, but just being hyper aware and in tune to what's going on within our hearts.
Yes, absolutely. I mean, the way I see it as well, everything starts internally. Or if you're going to do and make any sort of impact, significant change towards yourself, you have to start within.
Yes.
And it only makes sense without, if you're trying not so much doing for self, but you're doing for somebody else. But it's such a reciprocal thing. How can you do for somebody else if you're not doing for self, or vice versa? It's almost like an ecosystem in itself. We all coincide so in depth with each other. It's hard to not say we're connected, even when we think we're not.
That's so correct. And then too, even when you say, as far as looking outside of yourself, when you're connecting with another person, that also is very important for us to be very in tune to what we're experiencing inside when we're interacting with another person, because that also dictates our experience and how we show up in that particular relationship or that situation that you might find yourself in with another person.
Yes, definitely. All right, let me read something quickly, and then we can kind of go further into things.
Okay.
It says, "Eyeball in the wind because you move with such grace. In the empty space, I'm prone to be lackadaisical, like I've just made 7 days. Could never run away from the dreamer's phase. Throwing pain like dreamer's paste. Hard to find the gains until I wither away, like the birds and the trees as the flowers blooms in my way. Smiling was the case until I lay cake in many ways. How much can my mind take? Capacity flowing like air, thus explosive if I am not okay. Trying to plant in the mind for the future, thus I'm putting rhymes on layaway. Then I come and take them to the iron bars of the page. Now who is really locked away?"
That's awesome. That's really awesome. Oh wow.
I thought I'll open up the archive for a special person and share something. I thought it was appropriate for the type of topic that we're speaking about. Fortunately, this made a lot of sense to me, so I hope it made sense to you as well.
Yes, I would have to hear and read that again to just absorb. That was really, really awesome. It has so many different layers. So if we're gonna have a conversation with that, you have to go line by line on that one. Yes.
We'll get to that.
Yes.
I want to inquire a little bit more about, you have a procedure, the AIR scan process. Could you tell us a little bit about that?
Yes, I would love to. So the heart scan process is something that I created to again assist individuals with connecting with their heart, their
Yeah.
inner space. And so it's called AIR. AIR is an acronym, but the reason why I call it AIR as well because we can't live without it.
Mm.
And AIR points to the areas that affect us the most in our lives. So
Yeah.
A stands for abundance, and not just abundance meaning financial abundance, but abundance
Yeah.
across the board, whether it be abundance of peace and joy and things of that nature. And within each area, it's like 12. It's like 12 layers. So A is abundance. I stands for your inner journey. Your inner journey meaning experiencing you and your purpose and your power and things of
Yeah.
that nature. And then R stands for relationship. The first and most important relationship is your relationship with yourself, and then across the board. So the heart scan is a 3-step process, and the first part is like throughout the heart scan process, I have the individual connect with their heart and communicate with their heart, because it's not about me. I'm just the guide, right, to guide you within. So the first part is to identify the layer of love which needs your attention right now. So a layer of love, and again, there's 12 layers,
Yeah.
and it points to your experience and the manifestation of love within your heart. So
Yes.
like if I'm going to give you an example so we can go through the three-step process. So for example, if your heart reveals to you that peace needs your attention right now, okay,
Yeah.
because that's one of the 12 layers, then your heart is letting you know that, okay, if you're experiencing the lack of peace within a situation or circumstance, then your heart will say peace is the layer of love that needs your attention. The next step is to identify the emotional block that is keeping you from experiencing the fullness of peace in your heart. So
Yeah.
there's 12 emotional blocks that has been revealed to me that's within there. For example, if you're not experiencing the fullness of peace, then the emotional block of anger could come
Yeah.
forth to say like, you're
A sense of
angry, so
imbalance
that's why
almost.
you don't have peace, right?
Yeah.
And then just to give a little side note in terms of the emotional blocks, because I don't see anything as being negative. It's just, like the emotional block is not anything negative. It's just love turned inside out.
Yes. Yes.
So it's just, you're just experiencing love in the opposite way, right? And
Yeah.
then the third part is the call to action. What is your heart calling for in terms of, what you need to do in order to clear the emotional block of anger so you can experience the fullness of peace? And so, it's up to you in terms of how much time you might have. I can do a collective heart scan, or I can do a heart scan for you so
Yeah.
that the individuals can really actually experience or see how the heart scan unfolds.
That's interesting. I think there's so many things that jumps at me. Just going through the whole method of it. The biggest thing is balance. I would imagine that's almost like the end product of sorts, to find balance.
Yes.
So
yes, for sure.
not to be too much of something, emotionally speaking, not to not to veer into places that's gonna put you off balance, like anger or
yes,
whatever it is. It's like the fine lines
yes,
of that human experience.
yes.
And I think
being in a spinner point.
Yes, exactly. I think but to speak to that, I think so many people are missing that awareness, which is another thing that comes to mind, because you have to be aware and have a certain level of anticipation to know or even think about, okay, what do I do now? How do I go about finding oneself or reverting back to balance if I am not in that space?
Yes.
That's what I'm talking about. So
Yes, for sure.
it definitely does speak to me in the understanding. I think it all starts with, as you mentioned at the beginning, self-mastery in a way, or understanding oneself, because only then can you anticipate, be aware of what it is, and to know I'm in balance. What are the signs? What are the symptoms that I'm not in balance? You know,
Right.
there's a lot to it. I'm just going into veering into my head as I do, and just listening to what you're saying. But that's very interesting. I think, and obviously going back to the whole idea of like holistic, that is pretty much encapsulate exactly what you specialize in. So it makes a lot of sense to me, and I think a lot of people can take so many gems from this. You know.
Yes, and the biggest key to it all is making an effort to be in the now moment. It's being in the now moment, because in order for you to be aware of what's going on within your inner space, the center point of your heart, you have to be in the now moment, because when you're distracted by things that you're concerned about in the future, or being stuck in the past.
Yeah.
See, yesterday is gone. Today, tomorrow will be today. Today is all you have, is your power to experience you.
Yes.
Yes.
I think another way it goes is that if you're worried about the past, you're bound to repeat it.
Yes.
If you're looking too far into the future, you're bound to miss what's here and now.
That's correct. That's correct.
So you have to understand where you are.
Yes, that is so true. And like as I made mention, that there's 12 layers of love, and the center point is where the 12 layers lie, right? And I always tell my clients and those who I serve that when you're out of alignment with those 12 layers in the center point, in the balance point of your heart, then I say you're falling out of love. Right? Because that's the true falling out of love. So because for me, I've practiced this for so many years. I walk my talk. Yes. So anytime I feel myself shifting out of the center point, I know immediately, because I practice the presence of love. That's what I'll call it, practicing the presence of love. So when you're shifting out of that center point, you know it immediately, right? Because you know how it feels.
Okay. So if I was to ask you, what is love to you, what would you say?
I'm so glad you asked me that question. So I have a little story behind that, how it was revealed to me, because love for me is power. Is the power that we connect to in order to create our reality. So I had gotten to a point, like when we talk about the journey, my journey that took me to this place where I was blessed with the wisdom to assist individuals in clearing emotional blocks and experiencing themselves. I got to a point where I was tired of being in emotional pain. I was like in pain all the time emotionally, and I just got tired of it, and I just want to throw in the towel. So with me, before I go to sleep at night, if I have a question on my heart, before I become fully waken in the morning, I hear loud and clear my answer. So this one particular evening, I just like, what is love really? Because one of the main things that brought pain to me was, looking for love in all the wrong places, right? There's so often we're looking for love, not just in a relationship dynamic, but just looking to experience love. Even for me, learning how to love myself from the inside out, so I said, I was like, okay, I need to know what love is. What is love really? And I went to sleep, and when I woke up, I heard this message. It said that love is all there is. It is the creative power which gives life to everything and everyone. It is experienced and expressed in many different ways, but to the degree in which your heart is open to allow love from the inside out will be the degree in which you would experience it and have the capacity to express it. So that's the reason why I said love is the creative power that gives life to everything. To everything. It's not about emotion. It's not, there's, so often there's no words to describe it, but it's about the experience of you.
Yes.
And when you experience you, then you experience things, people, places, and things differently, because it's from the essence of who you are. That's what love is. Yes, to me.
That's interesting. I also want to ask, with that being said, what would you say the difference is between survival and living?
Well, survival, to me, I see it is that we're experiencing it from a place of lack. And when I say a place of lack, of meaning that a lack of whatever it is that you would deem being that which would bring your experience of love, right? So living is experiencing from a place of knowing that there is abundance, and that you are the creator of your reality, and you can do and be and have anything you choose. And I used to hear that all the time, and I'm like, that didn't resonate with me, but I understand that now at this point. And if you're not experiencing the creation of what you choose, that means that there are, again, emotional blocks. There's something that's blocking you, or you're seeing things from a place of lack than seeing it from abundance and attracting that into your life.
I like that. What was what inspired you to this degree that you choose to give back to such a level in this way? What was that change? What was that turn of the key, in sense, to kind of open up?
It was when I got to a point where I experienced the level of joy and peace in my heart. And because I'm a giver, and I wanted everybody to experience what I experienced, to see people struggling and hurting and things of that nature. It's not as, it just brings me joy. It's about my purpose, right? I understand. I feel that whenever we receive a key, I always call it like it's a key to unlock the door for someone else. That takes you to another level of that experience that you had, right? So if I'm walking my talk and I'm able to free someone else, then I have contributed to another person experiencing the joy and the love and the peace that I have. So like my mission is to assist in restoring the power of love in the heart of humanity. Because when we do that, because we're, like you said earlier, we're connected.
Yes.
So whenever I'm able to help someone that's around me, or even those that I serve, to be able to shift into that state of peace and joy, then that goes out, into the world or universe, whatever people would see or deem it as. And it just helps us to experience more of who we are, because we are one.
Is there a certain type of imbalance or blockage, would you say, that's perhaps worse than others? Is there, obviously there's levels to this, but what's the worst level in your imagination?
So like when I go back to the emotional blocks, it's hate. Because hate, it's like whenever, the reason why we create emotional blocks within our heart is because we're resisting. We don't allow whatever we're experiencing to just flow through us, to be in that now moment and just observe it instead of allowing it to take us over. So like it starts at maybe a little frustration and then anger, and then it builds and builds and builds, and it becomes fortified, because that's like a block, meaning like a wall that you created. But hate is the, I believe is the biggest thing.
And when you say block, could that be is it just emotional type of blockage, or could it be more a type of mental blockage as well?
Well, for me, from like your heart, in my core studies, when I obtained my dissertation, I did a lot of studying.
Yeah.
And your heart has a little brain, right? Okay. So I remember when I was a little girl and I was going to church, my grandmother took me to church, and there was the scripture says, as a man thinketh in his heart, so is he. And I used to think, like, how can a heart think if it doesn't have a brain? But it was so funny that I guess that scripture jumped out at me, because I wrote my thesis surrounding that. Yeah. And so our heart has a little brain, and it dictates and controls more of what our thoughts in our head, because I always call it shifting from your mind to your heart. Yeah. Because your heart creates this magnetic field that attracts things to you. So I look at it more of a heart condition. Yes. And that's the reason why I say it's the emotional blocks, because we create a wall, and there's an actual wall, bag that surrounds our heart of water that's filled with water. And when we have emotional blocks and we're resisting our emotions, it creates an actual wall. It hardens that wall around our heart. So I believe it's more about the condition of our heart than what's going on in our head.
So in essence, if I hear you correctly, you're saying it's more to do more the heart than it is the mind.
Yes.
And I only say that
I know we've been taught that
they're both connected.
Yes, they are connected, but your heart dictates what goes on in your, like, as far as the thoughts that you have in your mind. And that's why it's really important to shift from your mind to your heart. And whenever your heart condition is in alignment and connected to that power and who you are, then your thoughts will change. And that's the reason why so often people have a hard time with changing their mind, because they think they have to go from here instead of here. Interesting.
Could that be is there a level of frequency at work here? Could you speak to that?
Yes, I can. 528 hertz, that's the frequency of love, right? And again, I keep going back to my journey because I'm really grateful for it. I used to listen to the pure tone. There's different frequency tones, like Sophilio tones, and the frequency of love is the frequency that is the manifestation power, right? Yeah. So if you can stay in tune and connected to your heart, and you know how to navigate to that experience of love, yes, then that's what will help you to shift. Yes.
So I guess I am trying to piece it together in terms of like what you're saying, which is I hear you and it makes sense. But where does the brain fit into all this? Because they are together, aren't they? They are connected.
Yes, so like the organs, they're connected. They are connected, right? Yeah. And so your heart beats about 100,000 times a day. Yes. And in every heartbeat, there's a message.
A message.
So your heart is the first one that was formed, but it's like a connection, like the energetic field. One does influence the other. Reason why I focus more on the heart, because when you change the heart, then your mind, because your thoughts definitely affect what you are experiencing in your heart. So I'm not saying that they're totally disconnected, but I point to the heart, because that's where the real change comes from. Because I'll give you a good example.
Yeah.
So if you make a decision to do something different, right? Like you say, okay, I'm going to stop. You thinking in your head, I'm going to stop doing this.
Yes.
But if you don't make the decision and make a change within your heart, you haven't made the change. There's no way, because we like when we say we're going to do something and we keep doing the same thing over and over again, it's because we're trying to change it through our thoughts in our head instead of making a change within our heart. So they do affect one another, but if you didn't change it in your heart, you can't. It hasn't changed, because your heart is like, I look at our heart is a portal. It's connected to our heart is connected to the realm of infinite possibilities. So if you don't line your it's where you can connect to the 0 point and start at the 0 point, and whatever it is that you experience within your heart space, and to make it a little easier for, like, your feelings is the language of your soul, right? And so your feelings is comprised of, one, what you believe.
Yeah.
Right? What you believe. Your beliefs affects your thoughts, and your thoughts affect your emotions. So those three things equal, again, your feelings. So if you're believing a lie, right?
Yeah.
Then that lie is going to cause you to think something that's out of alignment with what is true for you. And then when you're out of alignment, then you will have emotions that are going to be low-level emotions or emotional blocks.
Yes.
So the way you determine, so I always say back to train up.
Right.
So like if you're hyper aware of your inner space, and you have emotions that are low level, then you go back and you say, okay, what is it I'm thinking in my head right now? Because your heart is letting you truth. So that's the difference. Your head is telling you something that your heart is saying that is not true for you. So then you stop and you say, okay, what is my head telling me? Because my heart is letting me know that this is not in alignment with who I am and what I choose to experience in this moment. And then you say, okay, this is what I'm experiencing in my thoughts. And then I say, so what is it that I'm believing that's making me think what I think? So that's how it works together. Yeah. Pay attention to what your emotions is telling you. And then when you go backwards, it was like, okay, so my heart is letting me know that I'm believing something that's not true for me. And I always say a lie. I like to use the word lie because that's a strong word. So then you step back and you get in your heart space and you say, what is the truth?
That's interesting.
So that's how that works. Your head can tell you a lot of stuff, but your heart will tell you the truth.
That's real. That's real. We don't have much time, but I want to ask you one last question. Could you explain the end goal or vision you have for people that undergo or experience your form of holistic treatment?
The end goal is to experience you from the inside out, the essence of who you truly are, which is love.
Yes.
Love meaning like power. Again, when I say love, I'm talking about the power and the experience and the essence of who you truly are. And it's everything that you could ever think of or desire. It's all about your purpose for being. That's what we came here for, not for anything or anyone else. We came here to experience ourselves, experience love. And it's not about being selfish, but once you do that, then you can be more to those who you love or who's in your life, or you can be more to those who you are called to serve, or like those who I coach and assist. That's the end goal, is to help you experience to experience from the inside out. Because if you don't go within, again, you go without. Everything is right here.
That's very interesting, man. I appreciate the way you it's very clear and I understand. It makes a lot of sense. And I can sense the passion behind your words. So I know this is it comes from a deep place, you know. And obviously it's your experience and what you've been through is also it's fueled by that. It's a driving factor, you know, to kind of make sure you express it, because of course, you know, you want people to kind of experience where you are right now compared to where you were before, you know. And I commend you for that. That's an honorable thing to do.
Thank you.
I'm sure you're aware, you know. So that's beautiful. We don't have much time, but I just want to say thank you for coming through and giving me some of your time. It's been great to have you on. Did you have anything you wanted to promote or anything you wanted to mention before we go?
Well, I would like for those who are listening who would like to learn more or to experience a little bit of love, my website is openheartworld.com. And when you go on the website, you will be able to put your email address in there and receive what I call a love note from your heart, my heart to your heart, meaning just experiencing something from within yourself. I wrote a book. It's called Broken Open, A Truthful Journey into Your Heart. And within my book is, at the end of each chapter is a love note, a message from your heart to you. And so when you go online, you will be able to find my book. I also do something that's called the Connect and Paint, allowing your heart to create the art. And so what I do is I take the participants on a journey into their heart to connect with their heart, find out what their heart name is. And then at the end, they create this beautiful piece of artwork. It's called flow art. And it's a heart-shaped canvas, and it represents their heart. And the paint that they pour onto the heart, they move it around. It represents love. So when they get done, they have a little glimpse of the glory of what their heart looks like. And it's just so beautiful. So if you go on the website, you'll be able to see that. You'll be able to see the heart gallery where different hearts were created by those who participated. And it's really powerful. So I'll just say my website again is openheartworld.com. That's openheartworld.com. Openheartworld.com.
Miss Tracey J. Johnson, thanks so much for coming through. I'm gonna have to go, but thank you so much. It's been great to
have you. Thank you. Okay, you take care.
Mind over matter, overcompensating, overstatements, crookedness related, the soul's churn in return, mental overstimulation, one word, riveting, it terrors my pilot. Streams that are promised to make seeking less.